how will that impact the defense?
Yeah, Thule's a big loss. Mekhi Blackman, a cornerback for USC, who, according to Pro Football Focus, the second highest ranked cornerback in college football on the outside. That's a huge loss because the Trojans are young on the other side with Sierra Wright. They have Christian Roland Wallace, who's a transfer from Arizona, coming in. Hopefully he can step up. But the Trojans really struggled deep down the field in man coverage. Yeah. You mentioned Kalen Bullock. When you go man-to-man, you don't have that safety help over the top. I'm interested to see how passing offenses attack that USC secondary.
It will definitely be interesting. Any final thoughts?
I was just going to say, like, yeah, I think Grinch follows this blueprint of his defense to a T. And like we mentioned about some players that are in kind of different positions than they're used to, I think he just needs to be able to adapt with the players that he's got at the helm.
I absolutely agree. It'll be interesting to see what comes in year 2 of this USC offense and defense. There may be major changes coming to college football landscape. Due to complaints over the length of broadcast, the NCAA Rules Committee is looking into shortening the game. While some are adapting a more professional model, running the clock after a first down, eliminating untimed downs when a quarter ends with a flag, and getting rid of back-to-back timeouts, say if you wanted to ice the kicker. Are you guys fans of this new direction, or do you just want all the college football you can get no matter how long it takes?
Oh, thank God. I mean, I am sick and tired of spending 4.5 hours watching a 30-point blowout. I've been on both sides. Last year, USC was horrible. You had to sit there for 3 hours after they're down 20 through the first quarter. It sucked. This year, it was more fun, right? They'd go up 30, but you're still just waiting around for this game to end. It takes forever. Please, please, please get it under 4 hours.
Who knows if that Tulane comeback happens with these rules? That's all I'm saying, Stefan.
I think, yeah, this is going to speed up the game for sure. But I think there's another angle of this that we need to look at, and it's from a player safety benefit. There are going to be less snaps. Limiting these snaps are going to limit these injuries for some of these players. We're talking Xing out nearly 30 snaps per team per game. This is going to reduce the total number of possessions, which could even create a more competitive landscape if you think of some of these offensive gurus who hold the ball for time of possession. And we're looking into the future with more games being played, with the expansion of the playoff. I think this is perfect. I think that's on top of the games being sped up in general.
Do you think it is going to help with the players' transitions to the transition to the pro level at any point?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think, you play more like a pro-style game when you play with similar clock rules. So I feel like that helps the transition to the game. One part of these rule changes, Alex, that I think about is the fan enjoyment of the game. I mean, USC has always had a tough time getting people out to noon games because you stare at that sun for 4.5 hours.
Long time.
I mean, we all know what that's like. It's awful.
Yeah.
So if that can be cut down, yes, please. I'll go to a game for a little bit longer.
I'm going to hold you to that, Carlo Jiménez. I may have to hold you to that.
Okay.
2023 started rough for all of the Trojan family. Days after that humiliating choke against Tulane, SC Hoops lost a nail-biter to UCLA 60-58. Things have turned around since, tying the series against the Bruins and locking down a first-round bye in the Pac-12 tournament. So catch us up to speed real quick. Is there a hope for any dancing in March with this men's team, or what's the outlook?
I think there was a period in time where I sat here and I said the NIT is the ceiling for this side. But they've got 2 massive games to cap off the regular season, sandwiching with the Arizona and Arizona State. But speaking about this team since the turn of the new year, I really do think that they have a chance of not only winning the conference tournament, but I do think that they could be even a dark horse for the tournament as a whole. I understand that maybe there aren't too many guys you can rely on from this offense when you think of really it's just Boogie and Drew and Kobe Johnson kind of contributing in the last few games on offense. But this team has flown under the radar all season. And, when you sit there and you think of October and November, it's kind of understandable why, just based on how they were playing at the time. And, I just think the thing that's going to be in the back of this team's head is kind of just redeeming themselves from their first-round exit in March last year.
You brought up Drew Peterson. It's always a tricky situation when one of your best cornerstone vet players is also leading the nation in turnovers. Carlo, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. Sarah Tashi was talking about it earlier today on set. Shout out, Sarah. 3rd most turnovers in the Pac-12. Not a good look for your team leader in Drew Peterson.
And your vet.
Yeah. Good news for the Trojans, though. 8-1 this year when they have the whole roster healthy. The lone loss is at Arizona, where only 5 teams have won in the past 3 seasons. So
you mentioned earlier you think they're playing their best basketball right now, correct?
Absolutely. 19 points is the average win margin on this 4-game winning streak. Boogie Ellis is averaging 23 over his last 4. He's playing great. I think the Trojans are playing their best basketball. and the calendar's turning to March, that's exactly what you want for USC.
Time, man.
Timing couldn't be better, especially they look to face number 8 Arizona today, make a big impact going into this final month. The women's team is thriving, sitting 6th in the nation. On top of the recognition, guard Destiny Littleton, forward Raya Marshall, and Caddy Sissoko were named all Pac-12. Set to battle the number 11 Beavers, these ladies seem unstoppable. What's their potential?
Yeah, I mean, when you have a defense that's the best in the Pac-12, it keeps you in every single game you play, no matter your opponent. So really the question for this women's basketball team becomes the offense. I mean, you squeeze out a win in your last game, and one of your best shooters, Kako Adika, doesn't hit a 3 until overtime. So you need a little bit more consistency on the offensive end, but if you can get that, boy, defensively, teams struggle to score over 50 against USC. They're in every game they play.
Yeah. Stefan, what are your thoughts going into this Pac-12 chip?
I mean, Carlo said it perfectly. And on top of, just trying to find someone who they can truly rely on this offense, there's 3 players that are averaging double-digit points a game, and Raya Marshall in particular is averaging a double-double. There are 3 women on this Pac-12 team, on the all Pac-12 team, and that's tied for the most of any other team in the conference, and that's with the likes of Stanford. And from a whole, NCAA women's basketball perspective, it feels like for the first time in a long time, there are a lot of teams that are kind of limping their way into March here. When you think of UCLA, Michigan, UConn's looking kind of vulnerable. Stanford's also looking pretty vulnerable at this moment. I know that these are still some elite teams, but they are showing signs of being able to be broken down.
UConn vulnerable is still UConn.
Exactly, exactly. But I think the field is open, and I mean...
Let me ask you this real quick. Pac-12 tournament, just eyeing in on that. Sure, you have the number 11 Beavers. Realistically, looking through that, the road goes through number 3 Colorado, number 2 Utah, or number 1 Stanford, right? What do you give USC's odds facing those 3 teams? You personally, USC Colorado, I like our matchup there.
Yeah. Trojans were able to win one earlier this year, pretty handedly too, at Colorado. I think USC has a chance to win the whole tournament if that offense is there. Key X factor for me is, can Destiny Littleton shoot efficiently from the field? She's taking a lot of shots as of late, but when she makes a lot of shots, boy, it is tough to beat USC. So will the point guard be able to knock them down?
We're going to have to see as they face number 11, Oregon State. That should catch us up to speed on college sports, but we got all the professional talk you want coming up. Football, basketball, baseball, soccer. So stick around, and the water cooler will be right back. Welcome back. If you're watching this, the water cooler season premiere is still live. I'm your host, Alex Blau. Carlo Jiménez is back on the desk, and joining me, please welcome a fan favorite, my favorite, the birthday boy himself, turning 22 today, Reagan Griffin Jr., folks. Reagan, welcome to the water cooler.
I appreciate
New
you.
season, new year. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm another year older, another year wiser, another year back
More
in the
handsome.
water cooler.
You feeling 22?
I'm feeling 32, honestly.
I don't know about you. I was hoping a little Taylor Swift.
That's
there.
all right.
You never know.
Oh, okay. Swing and a miss. My fault.
Despite his greatness, the Lakers have struggled this year.